Well, hello Cellercise family. Hope you're all doing all right and looking forward to a fairly nice Thanksgiving. Got a lot to talk about tonight, but it's not going to take a long time. Got some information to share with you. We found out last Thursday I wasn't feeling the best, so I did my Cellercising. And Friday and Saturday it was okay. Sunday I didn't feel too well, and by Monday my lungs and a fever and whatnot had hit me. And I suspected at that time that I probably had COVID. I've got a daughter and a wife who are in nursing programs, and so they're constantly helping people and constantly being exposed to things. So it was just probably a matter of time before it hit me as well. And I want to share with you my journey as I'm going through the COVID, and share some stories of some of the other people that have been going through it as well, and what I'm doing on the Cellerciser that's making a substantial difference for me. This is a week of Thanksgiving. A lot to be grateful for, and I'm hoping that you are all thinking in terms of the things that we can be grateful for. And as we do that and we find all these different little things, and there's so much, then we can endure a lot more, we can be a lot happier and less stressed. So Cellercise, obviously we know that it pumps the lymph system. It helps reduce stress and tension. We can increase strength and strength of the cell membranes by the weight-bearing activity that is involved. When I started Cellercising after my lungs became inflamed, for those of you who've had that experience, that's not fun. It feels like it's hard to breathe, and when you do breathe, it's very, very sensitive. And I had to try to figure out a way to get rid of the fluid that was building up within the bronchial tubes. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that right now. We'll read some customer reviews, answer some questions. If you have questions, please write them down. Go ahead and send them in. Brooklyn is monitoring it right now. I want to thank Christine. She's on the other side. She's been very supportive and helpful as we all get an opportunity to go through a lot of this. So when the COVID first hit me in my lungs and I was having a hard time breathing, I couldn't breathe deep. So I got on this Cellerciser, and since I couldn't breathe deep, I did some shallow breaths where this is what I did. Just and when I did that, it was interesting because whether it was at that moment or a few minutes later, I found myself coughing up fluid, and I was able to breathe better. And so part of my routine has been, while the body is learning how to deal with the virus, is I'm getting on that Cellerciser several times a day and doing a gentle movement up and down. And I did my first deep breaths today, and that didn't feel very good. But when I was done, I was clearing out more fluid, and I felt much better. So I'm real grateful for what the Cellerciser is doing, because I asked myself, how else, unless we're going to be coughing a whole lot, how else are we going to be able to get rid of the fluid that builds up within the lungs? I don't know of a better way than the movement of Cellerciser. So it's been helping quite a bit. So let's go ahead and read some customer reviews, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the COVID. This one's from Amber. She says, I can't remember whose post I saw in this group about the breathing exercise, but I will be forever grateful for it.
I have had my Cellerciser for 12 to 13 years and never knew about that exercise, she's talking about the breathing exercise, until a few months ago, and it has made such a difference for me. I've had lung issues for years because of a job I used to do. So thank you to whoever posted that video. It was also just what my family needed in the last few weeks when I had 3 family members with COVID. I know you can overdo the exercise, and I usually do 11 at a time, 11 breaths. Does anyone know how many times maximum that we could do the breathing exercise in a day? Well, a lot of that is going to be dependent upon how you feel. When you first begin, it's a literal workout for the lungs and the bronchial tubes, and so they may be a little sensitive when you first start to do it. So going easy is probably better than doing too many. 11's quite a bit. Although if you're strong enough, there's nothing wrong with that. For the first time today, I was able to do these breathing exercises. And for those of you who don't know, this movement increases oxygen to the other 1/3 of the lung that most people don't get enough oxygen to begin with. And it helps to clear out garbage and phlegm and things that may have accumulated within the lungs. So it's hard to do right now, but it's also good for me. So I'm going to do it. But it goes like this. It goes. That didn't feel too bad. So that movement, when I first start to do it, it doesn't feel like it does much. But within a few minutes, it starts to clear up some of the fluid. So thank you for sharing that. And yes, I think that's a phenomenal exercise. All right. Hi, David. I hope all is well with you and your family. When I received my Cellerciser on September 26, 2020, I remember you had asked me to contact you after 3 weeks of Cellercising to see how it was going. Well, that would have been right around October 17th. Unfortunately, I got hurt. I think I pulled a ligament that affected my left knee. I started doing this side-to-side kick, which is at intermediate level. The pain got progressively worse. I was limping. It was painful. And the only thing I could do was a health bounce for the next few weeks. I was concerned at how long my recovery was taking. How did I get hurt, you ask? Well, in the beginning, I opened up the app and started with the health bounce, the twist, and I thought, these are too easy. So I jumped to the intermediate level, 4th routine. Big mistake. I hurt myself doing the side-to-side kick, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, really? Well, I learned a big lesson. After my recovery, I decided to be smart about it and start the routines from the very beginning. What a difference. I realized then that my body needed to adjust to these new types of moves, and that skipping the beginner level and jumping to the intermediate level was a mistake. I have been playing in for 3 weeks now and loving it. This is my routine. I do a routine 2 to 3 times a day. I am now in the intermediate level, 4th routine. I already see changes in my body. I've been struggling with my love handles for many years. Keep in mind that I've been teaching Pilates for 14 years, and I could never get rid of those love handles. But since I started Cellercising, all that has changed. My waist has shrunk. My legs are stronger. Abs are stronger. Agility is great. My level of energy is amazing. And I can't believe that at age 60, my body looks better than ever. Thank you again, Dave, for your YouTube demonstrations, for explaining things, for reading comments, and answering questions that we can all benefit from. God bless. I may send before and after pics in the near future. I hope so. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Philippa. All right. Okay. It's another good one. Hello, David. I'm a 60-year-old retiree for the last 11 months. I got my first gym membership when I was 25 and I never looked back. 14 years ago, I became a Pilates instructor, but due to COVID-19, all gyms closed. Therefore, ending my part-time job with them, I also stopped exercising, became lazy and unmotivated. Eventually, I did start exercising at home, but realized that my ankle would hurt after exercising as well as my lower back, so I stopped and ordered your Cellerciser. Truth be told, though, before ordering your Cellerciser, I had already ordered another brand, and as soon as I received it, I immediately checked the springs, and it was just the typical springs that stretch out over time. So I immediately went back to your website and ordered yours. I held back before because I was being thrifty, but I knew in my heart that I actually needed the Cellerciser, and so I ordered it, and I don't regret it. So today, September 25th, 2020, after waiting since July 31st, that's when we were back ordered, I have received my long-awaited Cellerciser, and I am so excited. I even put it together by myself with no problem at all. I also did my 10 minutes, and I'll tell you what, I was perspiring in those short 10 minutes, but I loved it. I'm looking forward to tonight and for tomorrow morning, and so on and so on. When I first ordered my Cellerciser, you welcomed me to the Cellercise family, and you also told me to check back with you after Cellercising for 3 weeks, so see how it was going. So I expect another email in 3 weeks. I have high hopes that I will feel some improvement on my ankles and toes from past accidents. Painful L5 in her back for the last 6 years from 3 falls that I had in the past, and other discomfort that I feel in my joints. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. God bless. All right, so now this one here. This is remarkable. That's still her. Okay. Okay, David, I wanted to write and let you know what a miracle that your Cellerciser has been to me. For the past couple of years, I've had leg and knee pain that has gotten worse over time. By March of 2020, my leg was aching so much I could no longer drive or walk more than a block or so. I went to several doctors over the past year getting MRIs, CT scans, and even switched medical plans to see if the new doctor could help. After spending over $2,000, the only answer was physical therapy at $40 per visit and drugs. I'm not on any drugs and did not want to start now, especially since there was no cause found other than a bit of osteoarthritis. At this point, I was helping a renter. I have an Airbnb and noticed a mini trampoline set up in the bedroom. The renter told me all about the Cellerciser that she had been using for over 7 years and even brought it with her on vacation. It had helped her back problems so much. She saw my pain and loaned it to me. After just 3 days, I felt better and I decided to invest in one and purchase a Cellerciser for myself. I received it and started with a simple 5 to 10 minute routine each day and watched many of your YouTube videos. After only 2 months, my leg went from 7 to 10 pain level to a 0 to 3. I was so amazed. I was able to drive and go for walks once again after at least a year of not being able to do so without pain. This week, it will be 5 months and my leg is no longer hurting. I believe in this so much, I signed up for your affiliate program and am recommending it to everyone. After seeing the change in me, 3 of my friends have also purchased. At 62, I even began to wakeboard this summer for the first time. I just want to thank you so much for giving my life back. I'm now stronger than I have been in the last 10 years. From not being able to walk without pain to wakeboarding with no pain. Thank you. Now I'm off to jump for joy on my Cellerciser. And here's Alicia, 62, learning to wakeboard. I'm jealous. I haven't tried that yet. That looks like fun.
How long have you had COVID?
Okay, got COVID a week ago Thursday, so what was that? That's when I was exposed to it. So it wasn't this last Thursday, but the Thursday before. And then it's been So 7, 8, 9, 10 days. 10 days with it. That's long enough as far as I'm concerned. I don't like this thing. Yep, I read that one. Good morning. I've had my Cellerciser for over a decade of rehabilitation from 2 autoimmune diseases with significantly improved balance and mobility. I'm looking for a safe Cellerciser routine for strengthening and weight loss. Please advise and or point me in the direction of Cellerciser endorsed or approved workout programs. Thank you, David Hall and Team Cellerciser, for changing my life. Sincerely, Paula from Toronto. Thank you, Paula. And I don't know if we've read this one or not, but last one. Mr. David, I received my Cellerciser today. This is in October. Man, the quality of it is the best. I love it. And the springs are quiet compared to the one I had. Big, big difference. It's like night and day. I had purchased a competitor Maximus Pro. Not bad, but then I kept running into your website and your YouTube and was impressed with the information and testimonies of your happy customers. So I sold my rebounder after a month of use and ordered yours. It has changed my life in so many ways. I had numbness in my left foot, and after just 2 sessions of 10 minutes, the issue was resolved. I sleep better, and before any weightlifting, I rebound for 10 minutes, and my workouts are way better. It helps out with my sinus as well. Yeah, and it's real good for helping to clear sinuses.
We want to know if anyone else has gotten it in our house.
Yeah, my wife has it. Of course, she's the one who gave it to me. And then we don't know if Brooklyn has it or...
We don't have symptoms.
They don't have symptoms. So they seem to be doing pretty well so far, which is a good thing. So I rebound 3 times a day for 10, sometimes 15 minutes. I will tell and share with friends and loved ones. Thank you so much. God bless. Luis. Thank you, Luis. All right, some questions. I've been Cellercising 6 months now, loving it. My hips and back are so much stronger. Haven't had the need to go to my chiropractor like I used to. I'm impressed. My question is, will I ever gain the strength to do those cellar jacks that you do without the bar? Jumping jacks your way. I like that. Cellar jacks. Okay, let me show you what she's talking about. All right, cellar jacks are... Doing jumping jacks on a Cellerciser, people would land too close to the springs. And the only time that I really hear of springs breaking is if somebody's landing on top of them. And jumping jacks lands on top of springs. It's just, that's going to happen. So I've never broken a spring in my life. So one of the things that I do is a jumping jack. It's kind of glorified where you lean forward and my arms go up and down over my head as my legs kick out behind me. But I stay very centered into the mat. And so it's easier to do it if I wasn't facing you, but it goes up and down like this. So as you're kicking back, you're working the back, your arms are moving up and down over your head. Actually, that felt pretty good. That pumping, those arms moving up and down, that pumps the lymph system too. The moving up and down, breathing in and out, that pumps lymph. That pumps lymph. That feels like it opens up the lungs too.
They're wondering, what were your symptoms and how bad did you get it, and how did Cellercise help with those symptoms?
Okay, what were the symptoms? How bad did I get it? And I got worse than anybody else in the family. But then when I was, I think a lot of it has to do with possibly my lungs. When I was an infant, my parents took me out to Disneyland and I got pneumonia. So I had pneumonia as an infant, and then I had pneumonia several times through high school even. And then I discovered how to strengthen my lungs, and bronchial tubes, and that made all the difference in the world. But for whatever reason, it did hit my lungs. And they get better and they get worse, they get better and get worse. I'd have a fever. The fever would come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. And I knew my body was still fighting it. So it still is, it's fighting it. But the fever, it's getting less and less now. It's getting easier to breathe. And I can sleep without any problem at night. Sleeping hasn't been really much of an issue. But I notice that when I wake up in the morning, the lungs are tight because of all the air, I think, breathing against the irritated tissue of the lungs from the COVID. And that, as well as the fluid. And so that tightens. And so I get on the Cellercise in the morning, and I start my movement up and down, and I start to break up the mucus, and then I go to work. So we're quarantined, we're at home, but I haven't slowed down, other than I can't go to my other office. I do my office here at the house. And I'm on the phone and talking to customers all day long too. And so there's some people that are just asymptomatic and really don't get anything. Part of me believes that by going through it and experiencing it on a more of a serious level, that my body is also learning more about it. So my cells, as I'm going through this, they're learning about the virus, and that's going on throughout different areas of my body. So one of the things I'm not doing yet is getting on the Cellerciser and running as fast as I can for 1 minute, which normally increases the number, well, it does, increases the number of active white blood cells in the bloodstream by 10 to 15 times. Well, I want those white blood cells to have an opportunity to learn more about the virus first. So I've just been doing health bounces, some jogging, nothing really intense, because I don't know enough about the virus, and my body doesn't know enough about the virus. So it's in a learning mode, and the movement up and down helps to break up the blockages, opens up the lymph system so the white blood cells can move freely through the body and do their job, which is to seek out and destroy and begin to understand more of the nature of this particular virus. So that's been my approach. All right. My upper middle back muscles and vertebrae are locked up and painful. Will the health bounce help heal this? Other suggestions? Thanks. And I want to thank the doctors and the chiropractors who have been calling me regularly, quite often, and sharing some of your feedback with me. You've always been my teachers, and I'm grateful for that. There are several chiropractors I've had a chance to talk to in the last couple of weeks, and we've been working on programs that are designed to assist with their patients. But the back, if it's knotted up, sometimes those rollers or a tennis ball, something you can put behind the muscles that knot up to help release that knot, that can be helpful. Lying down on the Cellerciser and having somebody gently move you up and down like I demonstrate in the DVD, the video, as well as, excuse me, in the video as well as on our YouTube channel. Those movements can really help to loosen up those muscles as well. So things like taking the right elbow, sticking it up over your head, leaning to the left a little bit to open up the back, feeling the stress or tension, holding the position, and then just gently moving up and down. That helps take pressure off the vertebral joints. It helps to elongate the muscles. It moves fluid up and down, and it massages that tension away. Then we do the same thing on the other side. Gentle twisting. I recommend doing it in socks or barefoot. That can help loosen the muscles as well. So I've been Cellercising every day now for 5 months. And feel my body is getting stronger and stronger. And I'm now at an intermediate intensity level. Thank you for these Monday night sessions. As I live in Canada, Alberta, where winters are cold and the walkways become icy. That's like where we live. I find it difficult to get out for daily walks in addition to my Cellercising. My question is, if I'm Cellercising daily, do I need to be concerned about getting in those 6,000 to 10,000 steps per day, or is Cellercising enough? Cellercising is totally different. It includes the whole body, not just specific muscle groups. There are G-forces that are occurring. The intensity is pretty intense for those of you who first started off with Cellercising. You know, it's 10 minutes can be a lot. We know that trampolining can burn calories 11 times faster than walking, 5 times faster than swimming, 3 times faster than running. We get that through Dr. Paul E. DeVore's research. So Cellercising, because it is weight-bearing, it's G-forces, and it's on every single cell or muscle. That means every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin. It's far more efficient. If you're walking, nothing wrong with it, but if you're walking, generally for most people, you're hitting a hard surface, and over a period of time, that builds up stress or tension in the lower back. When you're Cellercising, your feet and hips are dropping into the mat. As they're dropping into the mat, it can actually help loosen the lower lumbar instead of restricting it. And so there's specific movements on the Cellerciser that can be more beneficial, but it's also intense. So no, I've been Cellercise, that's all I do. And that I've been doing it now here in the snowy mountains of Utah since 1993. And that's the only exercise I get. And it's been more than sufficient. So that's my thought. The muscles behind my knee often get very tight, so much that I feel like I walk like a pirate with a peg leg. What's the best Cellerciser movement to ease those muscles? We're so very thankful we discovered and bought a Cellerciser. Okay. Those tendons behind the leg, they can get tight. Standing on the Cellerciser, gently rocking side to side, pushing down with the heel, that can help warm those ligaments and tendons up. Now, if they're tight and you start to Cellercise and you're getting more movement, ligaments and tendons take longer to catch up to muscles. They take longer to adapt, rather. So we need to give them time. And if you notice a condition, then that's fine. Don't over stress it. You don't need to. Just play on the Cellerciser, have fun with it. You're going to get more movement around the foot, especially when you're not wearing shoes, so that you'll get more flexibility in the feet. Now, I've shared some techniques that you can do on the Cellerciser that will address the back of the knee as well. But they take, you just have to start off gently. So you can bend down and grab the frame to begin with. And then as you start to stand up, you don't have to stand up all the way initially. You can just lean a little bit to the right and lift your heel up. Gently move up and down. You're moving fluid up and down as you do that. And then the other side, you can do the same thing. We get to the point where you can grab here
and just kind of lean back a little bit. And that's going to target the back of the knee and all those muscles in the hamstrings as well. When we're done, we just gently move up and down. Just gently. Now it's very effective, but go easy. You don't need to overstretch. Okay.
Can you address tightness in the neck muscles?
Sure, we can do that too. Okay. The neck is sensitive, so we want to approach this very, very sensitively. There are some I'm hesitant to share with you and other movements that are good. But don't do some of the advanced movements if we don't have enough space between the vertebral joints or your disc. And it's a good idea to consult with a doctor to see what your situation is. But some of the movements that I teach, and I share these Cellercise movements with doctors, is if you take your thumbs, put them in front, and put your fingertips along the vertebral joints in your neck and the muscles. As we start to move up and down, we're moving fluid up and down. As we take the fingers and we do little circular motions with the neck, or with the fingers, as we do those circular motions, we're pushing the fluid in between the vertebral joints to the disc as we work to loosen up those muscles. And there's the atlas, the skull sits right here on the atlas. If directly underneath or next to it, you can actually push these. They feel like two little bone areas where the skull sits on the atlas. If you take the fingertips and push up on those muscles or those bones, as you gently tilt, just very gently, you can take pressure off the nerves and massage and push fluid in between those vertebral joints too. Things such as just turning your head and gently bouncing up and down, turning it the other way and gently bouncing up and down. That's how to approach it. That's a nice, gentle, easy way to approach it. As you become more advanced and more flexible, then you can do some of the more advanced movements. But I'll say, I've shared those before. I don't want anybody doing that and ending up with a neck issue tonight. So I won't show you tonight. But any other questions, Brooklyn, there? All right. Well, that's the program for tonight. I encourage you, keep the lymphatic system open, keep it circulating. This movement right here where the arms, shoulders come up and down, that's a pumping action. And this pumping action, it's really helpful to help move fluid. And it's what I've been doing. So I'm glad to go through this. I'm glad to being able to share it with you. I'll keep you posted. I started videotaping when I first started feeling some of these symptoms coming on, and Christine has offered to take that video, edit it a little bit, and we will include it so you can kind of watch my journey as I'm going through the COVID with the Cellercising too. In the interim, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for so many different things, but most importantly, I'm grateful for health and friendship. And I wish you the best in health. And, I consider you my friends. So, thank you.